Peace and love, family. Peace and love, peace and love. Wait for some more people to come on. Peace and love, peace and love. It's getting real out here, family. It is getting real. Just waiting for some more people to come on here. We're going to talk about some things. I see my last post. My last post got people a little shaking. But in a good way, though. It was in a good way. Just seeing the response from people was amazing. Of course, you're going to always have those who may disagree because, whatever their belief system is or whatever the case. But me personally, I'm moving in the space where when it comes to health, I'm not going to include spirituality. I'm not going to include a person's belief in saying that based upon what they eat would define if they're a good person or not. Because I just truly don't believe that. Do I believe food changes your mood? And even in some cases, your behavior? Yeah, I do. And some people may say, well, that's an oxymoron. No, because what you eat doesn't define if you're a good person or not. So I just want to put that out there first and foremost. Is that I'm not here to, because you got some people out here, nutritionists, herbalists, and trying to spiritualize food. And I've been in that space before, right? But as I grow and mature and just realize some things, what you eat does not define if you're a good person or not. But what you eat does define your life as far as how long you live. You see? And everybody has this attitude where when it's your time, it's your time. YOLO. But I can understand that from a perspective if you died from a car accident, if you got shot, if you got stabbed, if you were defending your people, then that makes sense. But you can't tell me that if it's your time, YOLO, and you die from food. Because it's clearly because your choice of food was killed you. So I want to talk about the video I put up last with Angela Means. If you don't know who Angela Means is, if you ever watched the classic black film Friday, that's Felicia. Her real name is Angela Means. And she did an interview on Hype. And she was just going through her journey, talking about what she's been through these last few decades and years, and just her perspective on life. And segment of that, she starts to go into talking about health, and she starts to go into truly the masterminds behind the pharmaceutical, medical programming, and governmental forces. And she started going to understanding that truly the system of pharmacia is killing us. It's the third leading causes of most death. And that should ring bells to people. The very people that we're trusting in to help us, to so-called cure us, to heal us, to, nourish us when it comes to health, is the third, and when it comes to the leading causes of death. That tells you something on a major level. And then when you look at the people who are the number one people when it comes to disease, when it comes to sickness, when it just comes to mental health illnesses, physical health illnesses, black people are number one. So we're looking at a people, and it's not about a race thing. So I want people to get that in mind. This is about a system. And a system don't just include Caucasian people. Unfortunately, we have a lot of Sambos, we have a lot of Judases, right? Amongst us, that is a part of the system. So this is not about a race thing. This is about a system that is oppressing the people, even its own people. You see what I'm saying? That's killing the people at a high rate, because this whole thing, which was funded by John D. Rockefeller. John D. Rockefeller funded this whole pharmacia medical plan that we're living on. And the whole point was to not only desensitize, but demobilize and degenerationalize a people. And anybody who was in that system outside of that people was nothing but collateral damage. So I want to put that out there, because this is not about a race thing for me at all. This is about a system that we have to identify this system, because this system ain't just in America. Now, it's headquartered in America. It's most definitely headquartered in America. But I've traveled the world, so I can tell you it's not just in America. This system is in Europe. This system is in South America. This system is in Australia. This system is in Africa, all throughout Africa. So this is on a global level. This is not just about a people. This is not just about a country. This is about a literal system that was literally created. Now, it was specified to target a certain people, but it has tormented, tortured, and killed humanity in whole. So here we go with Angela Mean. She comes out and she talks about what's really going on. She comes and talks about how they're killing us, how the medical, like even for my last post before the video, if you actually look at the nature of ulcers, and the number one thing they tell you that causes ulcers is the medical pharmaceutical medicine. Look it up. Don't believe nothing I'm saying. You look all this up. When you actually look at one of the main causes of ulcers, it will tell you pharmaceutical medicines like your ibuprofen, like your NyQuil, like your Tylenol. And these are things that we're literally giving our children. So when you looking at it from that perspective, one of the main leading causes of ulcers is the pharmaceutical companies' medicines. One of the main leading things to death is the pharmaceutical company, because of their so-called error. Ain't no error. You know exactly what you're doing. How do we know this? Because you can find these actual documents from the 70s and the 60s, even when it comes to what you call the SAD diet or the American Standard Diet, where we're looking at this pyramid. They told you back in the 80s and 90s that this pyramid was causing people to become obese, depressed, and even suicidal. They came out with these documents. I have them. Telling you that the SAD diet, the American Standard Diet, what we call the nutritional pyramid, is one of the leading causes of obesity, of depression, and suicide. And then we have these sicknesses. One of the main, and here's the crazy thing: when you read on the back of these medicines, they'll tell you, stay in contact with your doctor, because this may cause this, or this may cause that, or this may damage this. So they're already giving you a disclaimer, because they know for a fact if they give you a disclaimer, you can't sue them. You can't sue them. No matter if you took it, no matter if your doctor subscribed it to you, as long as they got a disclaimer saying to check with your doctor, this and that, you take it at your own will, you cannot sue them. So when you look at it from that perspective, you understand that this whole thing is monopoly. This whole thing is about capitalism. This whole thing is about monarchy and ruling over people, or people, period. People, period. So now that we have that understanding, now let's look at the understanding of the true science of the function of the body. Because this is the reality. Again, this is not about a race thing. In no shape or form am I personally racist. I don't hate nobody. I don't do none of that. First and foremost, I am for my people first and foremost. Let's get that very clear. As far as hating people, I don't hate nobody. But so I want to put that out there because we want to make it something clear. And I'm going to use it from the animal kingdom standpoint first. You have something called a cheetah. You have something called a lion. They both come from the cat family, yet they do not have the same diet. You have certain gorillas species, you have certain bird species, right? That you have certain birds that eat nothing but fruits. You have certain birds that eat nothing but herbs. And you have certain birds that eat nothing but the nectar of the actual fruit. You have some gorillas that eat nothing but herbs. You have some gorillas that eat nothing but fruits and only eat herbs when they get sick. And yeah, you will have some gorillas that, depending on their geographical location, that will consume meat. So why is that relative to what I'm about to say? Because we have this whole global labeling going on. We're talking about humans, right? First of all, let's look at the etymology of the word human. Let's look at the root word of the word human. The root word of the word human is hue. Hue means color or melanin. Melanin is what I have on my face. Hue is also black. Hue is this, right? Hue is that, right? So hue is nothing but things or substances or species that have color. Man meaning mankind. So let's get that understood. When we say we are all human, that is not scientifically a fact. That is not scientifically a fact. We are not all human. That's first and foremost. Secondly, let's go with the case and say, let's say we all are all human. Well, we don't all have the same genetic code. We don't all have the same perspective. We don't all have the same blood. We don't all have the same skull structure. We don't all have the same jaw structure. We don't all have the same shoulder structure. And I'm talking about on a nation level, on a national level, right? Because even within your own people, there's certain things you just got different, but you have those certain basics that you have about yourself. For the most part, most black people have wide jawbones. For the most part, black people have wide noses. For the most part, most black people have big craniums, right? Caucasians have longer faces. They have thinner lips. They have smaller noses. Our hair is more like wool. Their hair is more like goat. You see what I'm saying? And we're just talking about the anatomy of a people. We're talking about the science of a people. So I don't want to add no religious or spirituality to this. We're just looking at nature and seeing and speaking on what we see. So when we look at that from that structure, already we know that we're not the same people. So then let's go on a micro level. We're talking about cells now. The main the main mineral that most melanated people need is iron phosphate, is gold, is carbon. The main mineral for a Caucasian is zinc, is silver, based upon their genetic code. And that was based upon their geographical origins and location. So when we look at it from that perspective, how we just painted the picture for the animal, you will realize that we cannot survive in the same environment. Environment is just not you going outside and Caucasians able to live in the winter and black people able to live in the sun. No, we're talking about environment, how we interacted with people, how we scoped and shaped our communities, how we taught our children. Even our perspective on life is different. Even the structure of our pineal gland and our thymus gland is different. We see more colors than any other species of people in the world. So our view is a lot broader. Our color spectrum on life is a lot broader than any other people. Why? Because the root of all things in nature, when it comes to substance, is melanin. Seeing that we were the organic people and natural people of the earth, of course, we're going to be more fulfilled and more in tune with nature. So our perspective and how we have to go about life is going to be different than other people. Does that mean something wrong with other people? Me personally, I'm saying nope. I believe that whoever you are, based upon the people you come from, you should live your culture to the fullest. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. My only problem is us as a people, is as far as those who were taken captive, the diaspora, is that we're so far gone, we are lost, that we're like a mutt trying to find a home. So we still sit here and tack on everybody's culture except seeking our own. And it causes confusion, it causes sickness, and it causes imbalance within our own community. And this is the main reason why we have a problem with uniting. This is the main reason why we have a problem with coming together and seeing like minds, because we have so many Babylonian, which means confusion. We have so many confused ideologies and confused methods of thinking due to other people's perspective of life, that we can't seem to find the balance within ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So when you go back to Angela Means in her video, and she was breaking down that the nature of black people, just the nature. I'm not talking about your religion. I'm not talking about your spirituality. I'm not including that. I don't want to include that in this talk, because that goes to a whole nother level, and just people get a little leery about that. So I mean, personally, I've chosen to step away from that lane. So what I'm saying is this: when we come down to the nitty gritty on a cellular level, and we look at the genetics and the cellular structure of the melanated man, and we looked at his main mineral is iron phosphate, and we looked at his main mineral that he needs is carbon, he needs magnesium, he needs phosphorus, he needs potassium, he needs calcium. And then we look at what's identical to that matching of genetics and the minerals with what we need from the essential amino acids. You will find that the main food that he needs to get his essential amino acids, to get his main minerals, is in fruit. It's in fruit. It's in fruit. This is not about religion. This is not about spirituality. This is about simple math. Just like this. If I say, I'm going to ask y'all a question. There's about 6 people on here. 1 plus 1 is what? Come on, somebody tell me. 1 plus 1 is what? Can anybody tell me? 1 plus 1 is what? Anybody tell me 1 plus 1 is what? This ain't even a hard question. 1 plus 1 is what? It's 2. It's 2. There ain't no me making this up. This ain't no me ideologizing it. This ain't no me spiritualizing it. This is not me trying to get so philosophical with it. It's a simple math. 1 plus 1 equal 2. No matter if I put one finger up, the minute I put this up, I see 2. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of a thing. So when we look at it from a simplistic level, and we look at just the simple minerals, the simple amino acids that the melanated man needs, the simple amino acids that the Caucasian needs, the simple amino acids that the Asian need, the simple amino acids that the British need, or the Jewish man, whatever you want, because they all the same family, right? When we look at it from a simplistic level, you will see that the mineral that each of these species of so-called human, or a kind of mankind, is different. There's nothing religious about that. There's nothing spiritual about that. It just is what it is. The fact is, when I go outside, I am able to actually suck in, I'm able to feed off the sun and produce vitamin D, which is translated into cholesterol that feeds my cells. When a Caucasian goes outside, it's simple that he or she may, in some cases, be violated by nature and get skin cancer because he does not, or she does not, have enough melanin to produce to protect them from the sun. That is 1 plus 1 equals 2. That is 1 plus 1 equals 2. There is nothing hard about that. So then it will make sense now. It will make sense now why they adapt more to a colder environment. It will make sense now why they're able to eat meat. Because why? Because the main mineral in meat, when it's not cooked all the way, is what? It's zinc. It's silver. So they're able to eat foods that may be a little bit medium rare. But the black man or the black woman, when they start eating meats that's medium rare and still have the blood therein of it, they get sick. They have issues in their colon. They have issues in their digestive system. They have issues in their gut. Another example. Caucasians may be able to drink cow's milk. But when it comes to the black man and black woman, most black people are what? Lactose intolerant. Because we simply cannot break down the structure of the milk. Y'all, it's simple math. It's simple math. Hold on, y'all. It's that simple, y'all. It's that simple. So when we start looking at it from this perspective, health will be a lot easier. Because then now it's like, okay, yeah, the American Standard Diet is out there, but that is not truly equipped for the black man and black woman. Simple. No religion is added. No spirituality is added. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. So now, when we look, now we even have to go into the testing when it comes to the medical companies. They have these, like when it comes to blood pressure. Naturally, because we're melanin, and melanin naturally produces heat. Guess what's going to happen, y'all? Our blood pressure naturally going to be high. On top of that, when we're outside of our environment, which outside of your environment causes you to be sick, causes you to be stressed, your blood pressure naturally goes up. How do we know that? Because the minute you go into a fight or flight stage and you feel stressed or you feel like you have an anxiety, the first thing that starts to happen is your adrenal glands start to produce something called adrenaline. And it also produces something called cortisol. This cortisol gets dumped off into your blood. Well, guess what? Where that's going in? It's going onto your cells. And it starts to stress your cells. And it starts to deoxygenate your cells when you can't breathe. That's why when most people have anxiety, they start to because they can't catch up. They're not getting enough oxygen. They're not getting enough oxygen. So guess what happens? Your stress level goes up. Your blood pressure goes up. Your blood sugar levels goes up. So if you constantly are in a fight or flight stage due to your surroundings, which is your environment, guess what? Your blood pressure is naturally always going to be up. Simple science. Am I making sense to y'all? Let me know. Am I making sense to y'all? Let me know if I'm making sense to y'all. Let me know if I'm making sense to y'all. That makes sense? It's that simple, y'all. It's that simple. You have something called a cell. The nucleus of your cell is something called electron, protons, neutrons. We're talking about electricity. A negative charge, a positive charge, I say balanced charge, a neutron, which helps sterilize or balance both of the electrons and protons. So we're talking about balance. Okay, well, we understand that we need balance, something called homeostasis, and a body is not alkaline by itself. The body is not alkaline. I know we've been taught that by some of our ancestors. I know some of our elders was teaching that, like, the body's naturally alkaline. It's not naturally alkaline. I'm going to tell you why. It's just the simple fact that you have something called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. You have something in your stomach called hydrochloric acid. You have something in your lymphatic system called lymph nodes, that within the lymph nodes is acid to help chew off the toxins and bad bacteria and all those things that you don't need. So we know for a fact that the body is not naturally alkaline. Now, listen to what I'm saying. And this is what my teacher taught me. And then I started to research myself and find out myself. The body is naturally alkaline, but acidic in function. I'm going to say it again. The body is naturally alkaline, but acidic in function. What do I mean by that? I already broke down the acid. Now let's break down the alkaline. You have something called the mucosa membrane. The mucus in the mucosa membrane, I know Dr. Sebi taught this, mucus is the cause of all diseases. That is wrong. Now, what I would say he is right about is where you do find disease, you will find mucus. That's a fact. But you tell me this, if you were naturally created and you were born with something called the mucosa membrane, and this mucosa membrane secretes mucus out anytime your body goes into a diseased state, does that mean the mucus is unnatural? Anybody? I'm giving y'all simple science, simple question. I'm going to ask y'all again. If you were naturally created with something called the mucosa membrane, naturally, and this mucosa membrane has a liquid substance that spews out mucus, does this mean that the mucus is the cause of diseases? I'm going to wait. I'm going to see who can answer this. Because I know some of y'all follow other herbalists out here. I know some of y'all follow great teachers. I'm going to see what y'all been learning from y'all teachers. I'm going to ask the question again. If you have something naturally called a mucosa membrane in your body, and it produces mucus based upon the nature or unnatural environment of your body called mucus, is the mucus the cause of all diseases? There we go. All praises. It's not. It is your first line of defense. It is your first line of defense. What happens is this. The minute the nature of your body starts to change. I'll give you an example. The minute you go outside, let's say it's wintertime. The minute you go outside and you're outside for, let's say, longer than 15, 20 minutes, what's the first thing that starts to happen to you? What's the first thing that starts to happen to you? The minute you go outside in this wintertime and you out there for at least 15, 20 minutes, what's the first thing that starts to happen to you? Can anybody know? Can anybody guess that? Well, if y'all don't know, this is what happens. You start having a runny nose. What is that running out your nose? It's mucus. But what is the mucus doing? It's flushing out any toxins or any bad carbon dioxide that got in. It's binding up the toxins and bad bacteria and heavy metals, and it's flushing it out your nose. When you actually test mucus, mucus is alkaline on a pH scale. Mucus is alkaline on a pH scale. So you're going to tell me something that's alkaline in nature, that's literally made to literally protect you from diseases, from sickness, and it secretes out your body to push out the sickness. You going to tell me that that's the cause of all diseases? Nah, that don't make sense. And I believe in the Most High. I believe in God. And you're not going to tell me that God created something in me to literally kill me naturally. That don't make sense. But we're not here to knock anything. We're here to build on the shoulders of our ancestors. We are here to build on the foundation that those before us set. So this is not saying that Dr. Sabi was totally wrong. This is to help expand the knowledge. This is to help expand the knowledge, because it said what? Knowledge shall increase in the last days. Understanding shall increase in the last days. So why do we need to break that down? Because sometimes, especially for us as herbalists, we be sitting there trying to attack the mucus, and it ain't the mucus that's the problem. The mucus is not the problem. The mucus is actually there to help you, guide you. What you need to be going to attack, what you need to be looking for, is what caused the imbalance in the body for your mucosal membrane to even spew out mucus in the first place. You see what I'm saying? It got to make sense, y'all. It got to make sense. So when we going back to Angela Means breaking down the simplicity of our nature as a melanated people, the most simplest foods for our body to break down is fruits. Then it's vegetables. Then it's nuts. By nature, those are the top three categorized substances that we need when it comes on a vitality or mineral level, y'all. So this is not to even knock nobody who eat meat. This is not to knock nobody who eat dairy. Because at the end of the day, what I realized as a herbalist, what I realized as somebody who's in health, that you cannot change the minds of everybody. But what you can do for those who may not change their minds is give them alternatives. Give them alternatives to work with. So, okay, you want to still consume meat and you want to still consume dairy? Cool, that's your prerogative. But at least do this. Why don't you at least go based upon your biological clock called the circadian rhythm, where you have 3 phases in your body. You have the elimination phase, you have the absorption phase, and you have the utilization phase. The elimination phase is between the hours of 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. The absorption phase is between the hours of 12 p.m. and 7 p.m. The utilization stage is between 7 p.m. and 4 a.m. So if you know for a fact that your body is going through its elimination process, spewing out this hydrochloric acid to burn off all the bad foods, and your lymph nodes is moving through your lymphatic system, pushing the urine out through the kidneys to filtrate the metabolic waste. And you know when you wake up, and if you don't believe me, when you wake up, touch your stomach. I guarantee when you touch your stomach, when you first wake up, your stomach going to be kind of hot. If you ever felt your stomach hot in the morning, drop a 1 in the chat. If you ever felt your stomach hot in the morning when you first wake up, drop a 1 in the chat. And we're going to talk about it. So while we're waiting on that, let me see what people got to say. Do I do consultations? Yes, I do. You can go to the website and schedule one. Shalom, family. Peace, love, and blessings to the family. Fruits, vegetables, and nuts and herbs. Kutham, good job. Good job. Good job, sis. Good job. Great job. And Zuri Sunny. Okay, so look, we got a few people say, yeah, my stomach be hot in the morning. Some people take that, oh man, I got a bad tummy ache. Oh, I think I'm getting a fever. No, you're not getting a fever. Your body is just going through its elimination process, breaking down all the acids and crap that you've been eating because you've been stressing your damn organs out. You've been deoxygenating your damn cells, and you've been literally stretching out your organs to the point that it's exhausted. It's exhausted. So now it's spewing out this hydrochloric acid to burn off some of that food. So I'm going to ask y'all this question. If we know that it's hydrochloric acid, which hydrochloric acid is hot as hell in nature. Like, it's so hot that if you actually took it out your stomach and put it on your hand, you will burn a hole through your hand. That's how you know how hot it is. So if that's the case, right? If that is the case, if you know you're going through this process of burning off food, burning off metabolic waste, would it be smart to put heat to heat? Would it be smart to put acid to acid? Would it be smart to put fire to fire? Let's see who knows. Would that be smart? Would that be smart? Let's see. I'm going to ask the question again. If you're going through this process called the elimination process from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., and you know that your gut is pushing out this hydrochloric acid to help burn off all the waste and food that your body did not need through the enzymes, right? Do you think it will be okay to put fire to fire, acid to acid, heat to heat? Somebody said you got to neutralize it. Perfect. You have to neutralize it. How do we know that? Let's look at nature again. You have something called an electron. You have something called a proton. You have something called a neutron. The neutron, the third neutron, is there to neutralize. Because if you only had a proton and electron, they would be at odds. They would be at odds all the time. I like to use the principle of the Bible when it talks about 2 or 3 witnesses shall establish every matter. So if you need a neutron to neuralize your protons and electrons, and you know you're going through this processing, this elimination process, and it's going through this acid process to remove old mucus, to remove bad bacteria, to remove toxins, to remove waste, it would not be smart to put more acid on top of acid or heat on top of heat. Therefore, you must bring something called a base. You must bring something called alkalinity and bring balance. See, this is all about balance, y'all. Because I believe if you do anything too much, you'll harm yourself. So if you know that you already producing heat, it will behoove you to use something called a coolant to bring balance to the body. So if that's the case, right? If that's the case, what's the best thing to eat? If you already going through this heated process and this elimination process, what would be the best food to eat in the morning so you won't overstimulate or overdrive your body or go into acidosis state? What would be the best food to neutralize the body? Let's see who got the answer. If you're going through this process, this metabolic processing, this elimination process, what would be the best food to eat to neutralize the body? Fruit. Good job. Separation before elevation. Powerful name. Fruit would be the best food. Why? Because it's a coolant. Fruit is alkaline, right? Fruit brings a hydration. It brings vitalization and oxygen to the cells. Ooh-wee. You see how simple I just put that? I'm not talking about nobody who eat meat. I'm not talking about nobody who call themselves pescatarian. I'm not talking about nobody who consume dairy. All I'm trying to get you to understand is balance. Because believe it or not, even those who consume meat or dairy, even if you follow this simple thumbnail, this simple principle, eating nothing but fruits between the hours of 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., you will see a major difference in your health. You will see a major difference in your health. And the doctors is coming out and saying this now. This ain't Mikael saying it. This ain't the Edenic Experience saying it. This ain't no other herbalist saying it. This is your very own neighborhood doctor saying it now. It's about balance, y'all. If you understand the biological clock of the body, if you understand the nature of your body on a microscopic level, I guarantee you will not be sitting here talking about well, I inherited high blood pressure, or I inherited diabetes, or I inherited cancer, or I inherited hair loss, or I inherited bad eyes. You wouldn't be saying none of that if you just change the nature. If you just change it, because a lot of us are in sickness because the routines, or you want to put the sins, or you want to put the life of those before us fell on us, and we took on their habits. I guarantee if I talk to any of y'all right now who may be sick, and I always ask this question when somebody comes to me. When you grew up, what did you grow up eating? They say, oh, we grew up eating pancakes and eggs in the morning, coffee, or hot oatmeal, cereal, and we would eat meat, etc., etc. And I asked, okay, well, what did your parents eat when they grew up? Same thing. Okay, what did their parents eat? Same thing. So is it always inherited genetics? Or sometimes you just have inherited habits? Come on. I'm just keeping it simple for y'all. I'm just keeping it very simple for y'all. I'm not here to talk about nobody. I'm not here to spiritualize nobody. I'm not here to religify nobody. This is about simple math. 1 + 1 is 2. You put acid on top of acid, you create more acid. You put alkaline on top of alkaline, you create an alkaline environment. You listen to violent music, eventually you will start to have violent thoughts. You hang around negative people, you will eventually become negative. Ooh-wee. You will eventually become negative. You hang around lazy people, you will eventually become lazy. And like what the sister's name was, separation before elevation. So for you to even change the nature of you and change the course of the generations after you, you have to break the bad habits of those before you. Y'all ain't hear me though. I'm going to say it again. For you to change your habits and change the habits of those after you, you have to change the habits of those before you. Because you're doing nothing but repeating the same cycle. And every generation that is repeating the same cycle of those before either are the same or they're worse. Don't listen to me. Go look at history. Don't listen to me. Go look at history. Because when I look at history, when I see the repetitive routine of history, we have waxed worse. People get confused with this individualistic so-called freedom of speech or freedom to live the way you want to live, when that even is not a fact. So we confuse that with freedom. We confuse us being able to speak a little bit more about how we feel. We believe that is a sign of freedom. And it's not. Because if it was, we would be better than the generation before us. When you look at the dynamics of the families in the 50s and 60s, and you look at the dynamics of the families today, the families in the 50s and 60s was a lot better than those today. When you look at the ownership rate of those back then versus the ownership of those today, they were a lot better back then. So we have waxed worse as a people on all levels. We have waxed worse. We ain't got no culture. We ain't got no specific diet that we follow. We ain't got no language. We ain't got no land. We don't even know how to dress. We are a people wandering from culture to culture, picking up pieces of those who are not like us. Again, I love it. If you of another race and you got a culture, man, hey, that's inspiring. That's inspiring to me. That's inspiring. Because at least you have something that you can reference. If I line up 10 black people, 15 black people right now, and I ask them their nationality or ethnicity, or I ask them what is their culture, nobody will be able to say. The 15 to 20 people won't be able to say the same answer. The 15 to 20 people won't even be able to reference to no so-called African tribe. The 15 to 20 people won't be able to even reference any type of culturalistic practice or belief before slavery. So you know that we far gone. You know that we just in the deep end. You know that we have become the servant and not the master. We have become the tail and not the head. Because we don't even know who we are. Because I guarantee, if you know who you are, you'll find yourself less sick. If you know who you are, you'll see more families coming together. If you know who you are, you'll see more pure love in our community. If you know who you are, you will see more abundance. If you know who you are, more people will come to you rather than you going to other people. Ooh-wee. But it's because you don't know who you are on an intercellular level, on an external level of why you are sick. The true science and function of the body is being revealed in these days, y'all. It's being revealed in these days. So start taking heed to it. Again, I'm not trying to convince nobody to go plant-based, I'm not into none of that no more. I'm not trying to convince nobody to be vegan. My thing is this. Just make it make sense. My thing is this. Create better habits to have a longevity of life. There should be no reason that black men are dying at 50 to 60 years old. There should be no reason that black men are dying at 50 to 60 years old. And watch, I'm going to ask y'all a question. What's the two main causes of why the black man dies at such a young age? Yeah, I say young because 50 is young. What's the main two reasons that the black man dies at such a young age? Let's see who knows. Let's see who knows. I'm going to ask again. What is the main reason, the two main reasons that you see the black man dying at such a young age? Anybody know? Okay, somebody said prostate cancer. But remember, before something had to happen before it became cancer. Now, on a disease level, that is the main sickness. I said, what's the two main causes of why the black man dies at a young age? Two main causes. Because something had to happen before a stroke. Something had to happen before heart disease. Something had to happen before prostate cancer that led up to their demise. What are those two things? I'm going to give it to y'all. Stress. Somebody got it. The Harold. Somebody got it. Stress and their diet. I'm going to say it again. The two main causes of why the black man dies at such a young age is stress and bad eating habits, y'all. Remember, stress is caused by your environment. Most people stress eat or emotionally eat. Oh, I want to Netflix and chill. Oh, because I want to have a good time this weekend, I need to get some liquor. I need to get some weed. Oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Or I just broke up with my girlfriend. I need some ice cream and Oreos. So now we have attached food to our emotions. We have attached our emotions to stress. And we have made stress our main enemy of why we die. Oh, wait. Because remember, again, when you look at every disease, the beginning of every disease is stress. Whether that's internal stress or external stress. Internal stress is you eating foods that's causing your organs to overwork and stress out. External stress is your environment, your job, your relationships, the music you listen to, the culture. So your body starts to secrete stuff like adrenaline. Your body starts to secrete stuff like cortisol. Your body starts to go into a method of high blood pressure, or high blood sugar levels because of you stress. And it starts to affect your body on an internal level. You see that? This is simple. And here's the crazy thing. If y'all don't know, I just got back. I was living in Africa. I moved to Africa last year, July 2021. I just got back in July of this year. So I was there for a whole year. This is where I knew. This is because, look, sometimes we can be reading books and think we got facts. I'm going to be honest with y'all. We be reading books and think we got facts all the time. Not realizing a lot of the books that we read, I'm going to be honest with you, is nothing but perspectives and people's opinions and their experiences. Which I'm not knocking because experiences can be true too. They can be facts. But a lot of us, because we don't go through those same experiences to prove it ourselves, we've allowed their opinion to become our facts. So why am I saying this? Because here's the reality. When I moved to Africa, I specifically moved to East Africa and Tanzania. When I moved to Africa, I was amongst people who were vegan. I was amongst people who ate meat. And guess what happened, y'all? Both people who also consume meat and who also consume vegan or vegetables and fruits and nuts, they both became in a most peaceful place. They both had peace in their life, right? They also all lost weight. And that blew my mind. I'm like, dang, even those who and these people I know, even those who heavily eat meat lost weight. Which told me that the environment was the cause of even them having something called hypothyroidism, which causes you to have an issue losing weight. due to stress and other things, right? Or just having weight issues, period, which mainly is always thyroid issues, which also is in charge of your growth, right? But I realized when they started to change their environment, no matter what they ate, they became happier. They found peace. They lost weight. Their skin was glowing. This was people who both ate vegan. This was people who both ate meat. So that showed me and declared to me that your environment plays a major part on your health. Ever been in a relationship and it got so bad that you start to lose your hair, or you start to have eczema, or you start to have acne? How many of y'all been in a relationship that was so stressful that you start to see it take a toll on your body? I know I've been in an environment before like that. How many of y'all? I'm gonna ask y'all again. How many of y'all have ever been in a relationship where the environment of that relationship was so stressful, so bad, it started to take a toll on your body? How many? I know I have. I know people that have been around me have too. So we see that even the external plays a major part on the internal, right? And the internal starts to express itself in the external through what we call acne, through what we call eczema, through what we call hair loss, or through what we call ulcers, or through what we call a swollen gut. You see that? Or itchy elbow, huh? Or rashes or blemishes. You see that? So we see that the external and internal play a major part. It's really a duality to our health. So if you change your environment, like the family said, you change your environment, you change your life. You change your environment, you even change your health. And I'm saying this from a person who witnessed those who eat differently. They changed their environment, those who ate meat, and I saw weight loss. I saw happiness. I saw peace. I saw growing hair. I saw a glowing skin. Same thing with those who ate vegan. When they changed their environment, glowing skin, weight loss, happiness, peace, thicker hair roots. Because the reality is the constructed environment in America is not conducive to those who came through the slave trade. So when you see a people who don't look like you, who's able to flourish in this environment, is because it was built for them to flourish. It was built for them to be at peace, to be in happiness, to be in rulership. That's just the nature of it. So when you find yourself going back to your environment in Africa, or going back to a place that shows more, even if it's Jamaica, going back to a place that the sun is shining more, where the food is more fresher, where most of your minerals are in the food that you can grow naturally in nature, you see a change in your health. You see a change in your health. Because the reality is you got sick vegans out here too. You got sick vegans out here. Most of the fruit in America don't have seed no more. And if it has seed, a lot of it, believe it or not, is genetically made. I've never seen a watermelon, a natural watermelon, have white seeds. I've seen it have brown seeds, and I've seen it have black seeds. But I've never seen a natural watermelon have white seeds. And that's what you'll find in America. So with that being said, family, I appreciate y'all joining live. I just really wanted to speak on that because I've been getting a lot of interaction about the video that I posted. And if you didn't see the video I posted last night, go check it out. And here's the thing. And I told my mentees this. I told those in our community this. I said, I'm going to get to a point where I'm no longer speaking on what's imperative for us to eat or not, because the truth is coming out. I no longer have to speak on it. I no longer have to say it no more, because it's coming out. Doctors are now saying this, that when it comes to chronic diseases, no matter what your nationality is, when it comes to chronic diseases, when it comes to sicknesses, the best thing to eradicate, the best thing to to combat that sickness is going on not no vegan, but going on a plant-based diet. The doctors are saying this now. Now, only ones who are not agreeing with it are those who literally eat off our demise. I'm just being honest with you. Those who don't agree with it are those who make money off our sickness. But because I believe there's genuine doctors out there. Don't get me wrong. I believe there's genuine nurses out there. I believe there's genuine doctors out there that really, really trying to find on ways to help people. But because they've been so indoctrinated and they've taken on the program, sometimes it's hard to break the chain of your thought of what you've been programmed to think. So I get that. But you got genuine doctors out here, whether they be black or white, they're coming out with the truth now on what the best thing for people to be on. Because the reality is, their forefathers, the founding fathers of this so-called nation, they literally built this society off the backs of oppression, depression, and suppression. And how do you depress, oppress, and suppress a people? You captivate, you take captive the information, you take captive the food, you take captive the economy, you take captive the clothing, you take captive the essential necessities of life. This is how you keep a people in a docile, weakened state. You control the environment, you control the people. He who controls the information controls the minds of the people. That's how this works. This is how this works. And the sooner that we wake up to this understanding, the sooner we'll see a better rate of health within our community. The sooner we'll see a better lifestyle within our community. The sooner we will see less violence in our community. Because like I said, food plays a major part on people's behavior and thoughts. Do I think food plays a major behavior on people's spirituality? Nope. I'm going to keep saying that. I do not believe food plays a major part on people's spirituality, because I've seen bad vegans. I've seen bad plant-based people. I've seen bad meat eaters. I've seen bad Christians. I've seen bad Muslims. I've seen bad Hebrews. I've seen bad all of that. So me personally, I don't include none of that no more, because at the end of the day, spirituality is a lot different when it comes to the natural necessities of mankind on this earth. So I choose to discontinue trying to mesh those two, because it's different. So what I'm saying is, overall, beyond that, is when we start to see and we start to change the eating habits, we start to change our environment, we actually start to go through a real process when it comes to choosing our mates and our lifetime partners, you will see a drastic positive change in our community. A lot of us is overstimulated by sex. So we have sex with everybody. And then we have this thing of starting to hate the opposite sex because those in our past have done us wrong. But we don't consider the ways that we did that attracted those wrong people time and time and time again. See that? So if we go through a different process, and like we used to go through a stage called courting, we used to actually have our elders and our parents involved when it comes to choosing our mate. Because why? Because they knew us better than we knew ourselves. So you'll start to see a change in that. And I'm only speaking the African way. I'm only speaking the Hebraic way. I'm only speaking the Bantu way. This is how our ancestors, we always talk about, we want to get back to the ways of our ancestors. Well, this is part of the ways our ancestors used to move. We wasn't out here willy-nilly shaming our name, shaming our parents, sleeping with Billy, Bob, and Cat, because we thought we lived in a society that thought it was okay to constantly have sex and get your freak on for no reason. We didn't live in that type of society. So when you look at that from that perspective too, when we look over an over-sexualized community or society, and then you look at the STD rates in the community, it makes sense. Again, 1 + 1 is 2. If you live in a society that's over-sexualizing sex, that's promoting sex amongst the youth now and adults to just freak on, and you have your one-night stands and take a woman, and then you look at the STD rates, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Again, 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. Keep it simple, and you'll realize the downfall of your society, but you'll also realize what will help rise and elevate your society when you start to right your wrongs, y'all. So with that being said, again, I appreciate y'all joining. I hope y'all got some understanding of just again, this the truth about it, man. You got to know your genetic code. People want to get into calorie count. People want to get into, let me find out what blood type I got. I'm be honest with you, none of that matters. If you have people out here literally talking about what blood type you got, talking about that's how you supposed to eat, bro, that's totally wrong. Because deeper than your blood, what's in the blood? Something called cells. What's in the nucleus of the cells? Something called neurons, protons, and neutrons. And those neurons, protons, and neutrons, no matter who you think you is, need a certain mineral substance to bring forth vitality. That's simple. That's simple. There's no more discussion after that. If we just leave it at, let's look at it on a cellular level. Let's look at it from a skin tone. Don't look at it from a nationality level. Don't look at it from a religious level. Don't look at it from a spirituality level. But we just look at it from a genetic level. Health will be made simple. People be trying to just over spiritualize. And again, I'm guilty. I've done that before. We trying to over spiritualize everything. We trying to get so deep in esoteric philosophy when it comes to food. Well, let's just keep it simple. Let's get to a genetic level. Let's talk about it on a genetic level. Let's talk about it on a simple cellular level and skip all the other nonsense. We get to that at another time. We got to start one stage at a time. So we got to start inward first, and then we can talk about externally, period. Let's start with the inward parts first, then we can talk externally. Because all that other stuff don't mean nothing. You can sit here and proclaim your whole nationality. You can be a Hebrew Israelite. You can be a Kemet guy. Whatever you want to claim. You can be all that. But if you still sick on a cellular level, what the hell does any of that mean? What does that mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. What does it mean for you to proclaim who you is if you can't even live a full life to show people the way due to your bad eating habits or due to your environment that you created for yourself? What does that even mean? It means nothing. It means nothing. So, me personally, I just want people to make better choices, man. Make better choices in your eating habits. And realize, no matter, it's a difference between having addiction and what you need, y'all. A lot of the things that you think you need is not what you need. You want it and you're addicted to it. We be sitting there making fun of crackheads and, crack addicts, not realizing that the very thing that they're addicted to, you addicted to too, just on a lower level. So they addicted to crack. But we know crack is what? It's nothing but processed sugar cane. Well, guess what? You got sugar in your chips. You got sugar in your pop. You got sugar in your Pop-Tarts. So what's the difference between you and that crackhead? What's the difference? Is that his addiction was a lot faster than yours. That's it. That's the only difference. Is his addiction is a lot faster than yours. But at the end thereof, it's all the same result. A crackhead died because he overstressed his organs and he just buzzed out. You do the same thing, maybe at a later date in your life. But you overstress your organs and you buzz out too. When they look at that crackhead and what caused his demise, they're going to say they see an overstimulation of a thyroid and parathyroid, and they see a heart attack, and they see an overstimulation of his sugar levels. Same thing with you. It's the same thing. So we be sitting there making fun of Pookie, not realizing you a Pookie too. You a Pookie too. You a Pookie yourself. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, man, you do better, you know better, you do better. And that's all I want for my people. I'm not trying to convince you to be anything. What I am trying to convince you of is just to make better choices so that you can actually enjoy a long life. There's no way that you get to the age of 40, 45, and for the rest of your life, you dealing with pancreas issues. You dealing with blood sugar issues. You dealing with blood pressure issues. You dealing with prostate issues. You dealing with breast cancer issues. There is no way that you should be dealing with that by the time you hit 40, 45. And in some cases, you got brothers out here 25 now dealing with it. That's bad, y'all. If we keep going at this same rate, and you know if we keep going at the same rate, it's going to get worse. The age for our people will drop from 55 to 60 down to 45. I guarantee you. In 20 years, if we do not change our eating habits, our culturalistic habits, right, our environmental habits, in 20 years, I guarantee the death age for our people will be 45. Mark my words when I say that. 20 years. So with that being said, I hope y'all have a great day, family. Remember, continue to grow, y'all. Continue to elevate. Continue to learn, what I'm saying, and purge out the old leaven. Purge out those things that are not good for you. It's going to hurt. You're going to go through a processing because healing is a processing. Being refined is a processing. But I guarantee once you get past the storm, once you get past the detoxification symptoms, and you on the other side of that rainbow, it'll all have been worth it, y'all. So I appreciate y'all. If y'all want to go check out my website, I'll put it in the comments. Y'all can go check out my website because we do herbal compounds. We do consultations. We do tinctures. We do tonics. We do capsules. We do seminars. We do lectures. All that, y'all. So if you're interested in that, check out the website. I just dropped it in the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace, love, and prosperity to the family. Peace.